Welcome to the video on creating the pin slider block for the Trammel toy. Um, Here you can see that we have the multi-view drawing with the top view, we have the front view, right view, and the bottom view along with the isometric view up in the corner. Take note that all dimensions are in inches. The depth of the hole is indicated by the depth symbol. And dimension typical in multiple places indicated with TYP. All right, so once you have Fusion up and running, start with a blank drawing. We're going to go ahead and hit save. We're going to go ahead and save this to wherever you need to, and we're going to call this pin slider block. And next thing we need to check is the document settings to make sure our unit is in inches and not millimeters. If you need to change it, click on the little icon next to it and make that change. We are going to make a component here, so either right click right on the pin slider block name there and do new component, or select it from the create menu. All right, we're going to name this component pin slider block and hit OK. Next thing we are going to do is take a look at our dimensions again. All right, we have two basic shapes for this particular pin slider block. All right, both of them rectangles. We have a bottom rectangle and a top rectangle. So the first one we're going to create is the bottom rectangle. All right, we have a 1.75-inch length, okay, and a 0.734 width, okay. In Fusion, go ahead and create a sketch. This time we're going to actually start on the bottom plane here. And we're going to go ahead and actually create a rectangle, but a center rectangle starting at the origin. If you remember, the dimension is 1.75 and 0.734. I believe that's the correct dimensions. We'll double check here. 0.734 and 1.75. Good. Once we have those dimensions in, we can actually hit enter, and we have our pin slider block right there. We can go ahead and hit finish, sketch. Now we need to extrude this. Let's take a look again at our multi-view drawing. And the height we're actually going to go up to is 0.375. So let's go ahead and extrude that. Hit the E key or the icon in the toolbar. We're going to extrude this to 0.375, I believe was the total. I'm going to double check. Correct. Good. Once I have that, I can go ahead and hit OK. I'm going to go ahead and hit the home button. It's going to zoom in a lot more. And we're going to create the top part, the top rectangle now. That goes on top of this. That dimension, okay, we don't have to have it exact, and we'll show you why momentarily. But we have a center point rectangle again. All right, so let's go back to Fusion. We're going to do another sketch. This time we're going to select the top face of our previous rectangle. And again, we're going to go to the Create menu. Under Rectangle, do Center Rectangle. From the origin, we're going to just draw it out. But we want to make sure we go right to the edge. And you can tell when you're on the edge, you get a blue X. Notice that I don't care about the dimensions. I'm just going to click and finish that off. Okay. So what I'm going to do is actually dimension this. So let's go ahead and dimension real quick. Looking at this diagram, you can see that from the top of this edge to this particular edge, we have a distance of 0.141. So let's go ahead and add that dimension in. Okay. We're going to click on the top line here and this top line on the previous block. And that should be 0.141. Notice that it automatically changed the shape because being a center point rectangle, it will fill to make sure that this is the same over here, giving us the actual outline of what we need for a rectangle. Once you have that, go ahead and hit finish sketch. Now we do need to extrude this. All right, we're going to extrude. All right, we're going to go up. Uh, Looking at the diagram, it doesn't give us what this distance is for the top rectangle. But mathematically, we can figure that out by taking the total height, 0.813 minus 0.375 to get that value. So we can enter that into our little distance here. So real quick, just double check 813. So we're going to enter in 0.813 minus 0.375 and hit enter. And now we have our basic shape for our pin slider block. Going back to our multi-view drawing, the next thing we notice is that we have some edges that have to be chamfered, okay? So we're going to go ahead and do that. And I want you to pay attention to this right here. The chamfer edge, okay, is 0.125 TYP, okay, meaning typical. So we're going to use that value to keep our to create our chamfered edges. Go back to Fusion. There are 8 edges that you can chamfer. So we're going to click on the Modify menu here. We're going to click on Chamfer. We're going to click on the first edge. We're then going to hold on the Control key or the Command key if you're using Mac. And we're going to select all the edges that are on this side right here. Typically, I can select all 8, but I'm going to do the other side to make things a little easier for everyone. So that number here, if you remember, is 0.125. And then we hit enter. I'm then going to rotate my view to the other side here so we can see all these 4. And I'm going to repeat that process with the chamfer. So modify, chamfer, and I'm going to go ahead and select one edge and then hold down Control or Command if you have a Mac and select those 4 edges. Make sure you don't select anything else but those. And again, the value is going to be 0.125. Hit enter, and I'll hit my home key, and you can see that we have the chamfered edges. One more thing we have to do is to create these fillets. Okay, you can see that we have this curve here. Okay, now the radius of that curve is actually 0.25 TYP. Again, typical. So let's go back to Fusion. We have to create that fillet. So we either F on the keyboard or the icon in the toolbar for the fillet tool. We're going to select this edge, and I'm going to rotate over to the other edge. Okay, so and then hold down Control or Command if you have a Mac. Both edges. Okay, that distance now, or the radius, is 0.25. And then we're going to click OK. And if we hit that home button, you can see now we have those curved edges. We do have one more thing, and that is the actual hole. Okay, remember in a multi-view drawing, we have our top, we have our front, we have our right view, and then our bottom view. Notice the hole note here. All right, we have a diameter of 0.165, and it's a through hole. It is a counter bore hole with a radius of 0.177 and a depth of 0.633. Notice that this hole node is on the bottom, meaning that's where the hole is going to originate from. Not the top, okay, but the bottom. So when we look at this, all right, I'm going to go ahead and go back to Fusion. We're going to go to the bottom view. All right, I'm going to click on bottom. And what we can do is put we're going to create a quick sketch. The reason why we're going to do this, we're actually going to create a point on the bottom. Okay, on the create menu, or sorry, we got to select our plane, which is the bottom of our pin slider block. And from the create menu, we're going to go down to point, and we're going to put it right on the origin. And once we do that, we can actually go ahead and hit finish sketch. We just need that point there to create this hole. Now, using the hole tool, we either click on the icon in the toolbar or the H key on your keyboard, and we're going to go through this here. We're going to create a single hole, and then distance is going to be all. We're going to do a counter bore hole type. It's going to be simple. It doesn't matter if you choose flat or angle for the drill point. I'm going to do flat. It's just going to go all the way through. Now we can actually select that point, okay, for our hole. It's quite a big hole right now, but we need to change a few things. All right. So looking at our multi-view drawing, we're looking at a diameter of 0.65. So let's do that. Oops, 0.165. And that goes all the way through. Now our counter bore diameter is 0.177, and it's going to have the depth of 0.633. Back to fusion. All right. Our diameter here is 0.177, and we're going to change our depth here to 0.633. Double check again. We always want to verify that we got the right numbers. Looking good. All right. Once we have that, we can go ahead and hit OK. And we now actually created our hole. Okay. So I'm going to hit my home key. We're going to notice that we have our hole is actually kind of deep, but we have that counter bore for a reason. When we put the dowel pin in to hold it, it'll squeeze against that a little tighter, allowing us to have a good secure connection. And just so we can see what that hole kind of looks like, we're going to do a quick section analysis. You don't have to worry about doing this. This is just to show you what that hole actually looks like. So under inspect, there's a thing called section analysis. I'm going to go ahead and actually select this side here. Uh, and I'm just going to drag the arrow until you see the hole. It's almost like in half. Okay. So you can see the hole was created and that depth of the counter bore goes up to here, allowing that pin to squeeze against this part and making a more secure connection. Just hit escape and we're back to our part. Make sure you hit save and you're all done. You created the pin slider block for the Trammel toy.